What do Prem Watsa's Fairfax and Virat Kohli have in common? It is in the first unicorn of 2021, Digit Insurance. It has now raised a staggering $200 million and its valuation has crossed $3.5 billion. So in January, valued at $1 billion plus, and we're talking in July where its valuation has crossed $3.5 billion. Joining me now is the founder and the big boss at Digit Insurance, Kamesh Goyal. Kamesh, it's always a pleasure talking to you. The last time we interviewed you was when you became a unicorn. Now this massive fundraise, what do you plan to do with it? How has the last 6-7 months been that you had to go in for another fundraise activity?
So thanks a lot, Nayantara, for having me. I think you should be calling me more often so that the valuation keeps going up. The last 6 months, I would say, from a business perspective, have been good. But all of us know that the country went through a tough time, and also the insurance companies. But from Jan to June, I would say we would have seen a growth rate of roughly about 55 to 60%. And in January 21, we had actually raised a very small round when we diluted just about 1% of the company's equity. So we knew that we'll be raising capital this year in the first half. I think it maybe happened a couple of months earlier than we had planned. The reason for capital raise is that like banking has capital adequacy ratio. In insurance, general insurance, we have solvency margin. As a thumb rule, one can say that 30% of the gross premium which you are writing, you need to provide that for the capital. So to sustain the growth, and hopefully this will give us enough runway for the next 18 months or so from a capital perspective.
Okay, so now you have a cash runway of about 18 months or so. Your press release says that, against the industry growth of about 5%, you've outperformed by registering a growth of 44%, premiums of over 3,000 crore rupees. Can you tell us that in the last 6-7 months, if you were to look at the insurance sector, which are the segments that have done better? Are you looking to enter new segments?
So the numbers Nayantara you gave are actually for the last financial year. And as we know, the last financial started with the lockdown. So the motor business for the industry saw degrowth of almost about minus 3-4%. But health insurance and fire insurance were the two segments which saw good growth for the industry. I think this year or last year, after the festival season actually started from October onwards, and the economy had completely opened up, even motor business had seen some growth. This year, I would say in the first quarter, the growth will essentially come, one from health, and secondly from motor, and that is more due to the base effect, because last year in the first 7 weeks of the financial year, not a single new vehicle was sold. So from a low base, one is actually seeing a bit of a growth. But actually this growth in the first quarter in motor, the total premium, my sense is would still be less than what the industry had done in 2019-20. So I think going forward, since the Indian economy is expected to grow... sorry, you were saying something?
Kamesh, if I could just interrupt there, I understand. Sorry to interject there. I understand the point that you'll make that because of the pandemic, there will be in that sense a tailwind of people being aware of health insurance, wanting health insurance. India is massively underpenetrated, but motor insurance, because the last 18 months, the fact is no insurance company has given a reprieve to any policy holder for having their cars locked in. With the pandemic. So why are you expecting growth in the motor insurance segment?
So I think, Nayantara, let me just first clarify that if we look at motor insurance as a segment, during the lockdown, if you remember last year, we actually had a cyclone in the east, we had a cyclone in the west, we actually had floods. So vehicles were getting stolen, maybe a bit less. And more importantly, last year the industry did not get any increase in the third-party premium rates. So when you look at all in all, and the car premium rates actually went down as the economy opened up. So from that perspective, industry actually did not really gain too much because of the lockdown. Now, when I'm talking about growth in motor this year, this essentially will come because the new vehicle sales this year will be more than last year. Because last year, the first 2 months were like a wash down completely. And I think as Indian economy will grow by 8-9% this year, the growth has to come from automobile segment, which is such a major segment. So industry will see some growth in motor this year, despite again of third-party premium rates. So industry will not see any premium rate increase this year in motor too.
Okay, now I want to talk to you a little more about the activity that's been announced of the fundraise. Sequoia Capital, for example, is the new investor. You've got some existing ones that are also double downing. The press release has a quote from Fairfax's Prem Watsa, an original believer in Kamesh Goyal, an original believer in Digit Insurance. Can I ask you what his pearls of wisdom have been for you folks during the pandemic to emerge stronger? You're also one of those rare unicorns who's actually profitable.
So Nayantara, I think Prem is an amazing human being. I would say, in my view, more than an entrepreneur. He's a wonderful entrepreneur too, but he's an amazing human being. Last year, I think when the pandemic started, he had called up and he told me that Kamesh, he says, I only have one request. He says, don't do downsizing in the company due to the pandemic. And which was actually a great advice. We anyway were not planning to do any downsizing. In fact, last year also we added people and gave increments last year and bonuses and this year again. But I think that advice just shows that he's what a good human being he is, because he was not concerned about growth. He was not concerned about profitability. But all he wanted was that, take care of your people, because this is what matters most now.
Okay, so that's exactly what you're saying. You did take care of people. And now, as the second wave is behind us, things have started opening up, all of that. Can I ask you what we can expect from Digit in the year ahead? For example, would you look at an IPO at the moment?
So IPO, I think we will look at some point in time in future. I think this year, to me as of now, it doesn't seem to be a possibility. I think in Digit, as you know, Nayantara, we've tried to focus on simplifying insurance and backing it up with great service. I think we introduced this COVID health insurance product, which was industry's first anywhere in the world last year. This year, we have continued to sell COVID health insurance products. We feel that looking at the market, looking at where we are, they should be more focused on the health insurance as a segment. So that will continue. And in customer service, I would say that we are rated 4.9 out of 5 on Facebook and 4.7 out of 5 on Google reviews. So we still have a long way to go to come up to the customer's expectation.
As I start binding down this interview, Kamesh, I'd like to understand from you that, in the last year, we've seen mushrooming of many startups or existing startups that have wanted to use technology to make insurance a more seamless sector, make it more consumer friendly. They're also trying to innovate by coming out with bite-sized insurance. Plum is trying to do for the gig economy. Acko is trying to make waves. What is Digit's differentiator?
So one thing, Nayantara, is that I think more players we have who come and make things better from a customer perspective is actually good for everyone. So I would say more power to these startups. We very keenly work with a lot of these startups. And I think there's something for us to learn as to how we can do things better. I think in Digit's perspective, I think timely products backed by a great service, both for our customers as well as our distribution partners. Because end of the day, our distribution partners actually take this product and service to the end customers. So from that perspective, I think we will continue to focus on that. and try and introduce more innovative insurance products, especially in the area of health.
Okay, my last question. I know you know this, that I'm a huge Virat Kohli fan. You clearly are too. Digit clearly is, and Virat Kohli not just being a brand ambassador, but has decided to put money into Digit. How has that panned out? Does he take reports? Do you have to tell him? Does he give ideas?
I think our team will be very happy if it starts taking weekly reports. I think all my girl colleagues will be delighted. They will go and personally spend time and give him presentations. Actually, Virat has been an investor since 2020. He has fans from I think a 3-year-old kid to a 90-year-old person. I think I'm sure he obviously reads our quarterly shareholder report. But I think all of us would want him to focus on the Indian cricket team and winning us more trophies. I think we'll take care of his investment in Digit. I'm fairly confident of.
Yeah, and that's the other trend we've seen, right? Startups and unicorns in the cricket space. The cricketers also being interested in startups. But Kamesh Goyal, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Congratulations to you and the entire team. And look at what's happened in 7 months. Become a unicorn at the start of the year, 2021's first unicorn. You're in 2nd July, and Digit is now commanding a valuation of $3.5 billion.
Thanks a lot, Nayantara. Thanks a lot for having me. Thanks for all your best wishes. God has been kind, and I hope you'll invite me again when something good happens with you in future.